Well, whiplash. It's commonly associated with motor vehicle accidents, and if left untreated, can cause lingering effects. Well, our next guest is one of the top spine and disc doctors in Boston and makes a return visit to our live show here at CBS 6. We welcome Dr. Chris Quigley back to Virginia this morning. Doctor, it's a pleasure to see you, my man.
Great
Welcome back. All right now, let's just dive right in. We are talking whiplash. You hear that term used very, very frequently, but really, medically, what is whiplash?
Right. Whiplash is when the body and the spine undergo a tremendous force over a very short period of time. That's really the key issue with these injuries. It's very quick. So less than a quarter of a second, the injuries happen.
Now, we're talking a lot of them in car crashes here. Do these car crashes have to be serious head-on collisions for whiplash to happen?
No, they do not. That's one of the problems, is that when you have a car accident, cars are designed to protect the car.
Protect the car.
To protect the car.
There's a person behind the wheel,
There's a person
Chris.
in the car. Now, you guys have a big raceway here, right?
Yeah, of course.
So you watch when those cars get in accidents, they explode. This goes that way, this car goes this way. It crushes. The car absorbs the force and slows down the impact, all right? Whereas passenger cars are designed to protect the car. And what happens is the car is stiff. And what happens is the force doesn't get absorbed or dissipated. It gets put right into the passenger compartment where you're sitting.
So all of that energy goes to the person that's behind the wheel. We're just seeing a graphic right there. Was the 4 stages? Can we call that back up right here? What are we looking at right here?
So we're looking at a rear impact here. So if we look at position number 1, we have a young lady there, and this is the typical driver. We got the head sticking way out forward, a big gap between the headrest and the head. So that, like we talked about already last time, you want to have that gap small. So first thing that happens, you get hit from behind, the body goes up. So you see that arrow going up, because what's happening is the car is slipping underneath the person, and now the body's riding up along the seat. So the problem is that the head stays still and the body, the torso starts moving forward. So it's this kind of effect.
Sure.
Because the head stays with Newton's laws of momentum, the head stays here, and then the body starts moving forward. Now, that creates, the spine goes into an S curve. The spine's supposed to have a C curve, so what happens is it creates this S curve. So the bottom of the neck goes forward and the top of the neck stays here, and that's where the injuries occur.
You know, Chris, the body is very pliable, but something like that happens, as you said, in a quarter of a second, millisecond, and those injuries can last a lifetime? A
lifetime, absolutely. We have that chart. I brought a chart with the best research articles that talk about these injuries. So if you look up at this chart here, there's about a dozen of them, and the important columns here are the number of years of follow-up. So if you look at column number 4 there, it says number of years. So that's how long they followed the patients. The last column is how many people had chronic injuries. Now, the one I want to point out to you is the third from the bottom, Bunker Torp. They followed these people for 17 years. So every year they got in touch with these people. They found 55% of these folks had chronic pain.
Chronic pain.
Chronic pain.
Chronic pain. You're waking up not like just sore. That's chronic pain that affects every aspect of your life.
Right. And now, like we talked about, this is where the opioid epidemic comes in. 60% of people who start with opioids have started with a musculoskeletal problem, a lot of them with the spine.
Tell us, how can we prevent whiplash?
Number 1 is make sure you're sitting back in the seat. We had some fun with this last time I was here. I showed Greg a picture of a cab driver, and his headrest was here, and his head was like literally 15 inches away from his headrest.
You're asking for trouble, Chris.
You were asking for trouble. So number 1, get back in the seat. Number 2, always be aware, because one of the most important factors of a car accident is if you're aware, if you see them coming. So always be looking around, know what's going on with your surroundings, because awareness is the number 1 thing that causes chronic injuries.
Awareness.
Awareness.
So just shy of getting one of those NASCARs for the street, because that will absorb all the energy. But unfortunately, passenger car, the body absorbs all of that negative energy.
Exactly, and the bumpers actually create like a rebound effect. So it actually multiplies the force. Some references say the force is multiplied 3 times. Other references say it's multiplied 7 times.
We just have a short amount of time. Do you have some patients, doctor, that have any regrets?
Oh,
they say,
I see.
And what is it?
Every day in my office I see them, because what happens is they come in, and classic example, just this last week, Lady came in, she was in agony, like level 9, 10 pain going down her arm. I mean, she was miserable.
That's chronic.
Literally crying in my office. And we go into her history, and 20 years ago, she was in a major rear-end car accident. No pain, felt fine. 10 years after that, she started getting some pain. Then 10 years after that, she shows up in my office. And you look at her x-ray, you can see where everything's good except for this one section where it was nailed.
All right, sit back in that chair. You heard this from the expert right here, Chris. Great to see you, my man. For more information on Chris's book, Whiplash as well, we're going to post a link on our show website by early this afternoon at WTVR.com/VTM. Chris, we wish you well. Safe travels, my man.
Great, thank you.